The girl by the wall lights were soft but bright enough to see everything. Laughter echoed across the wide hall, filled with the clinking of glasses and the low hum of music. People smiled, hugged, and danced. It was the wrap party. Another film finished. Another journey completed. But not everyone felt like celebrating. Anna sat quietly on a small wooden bench near the back wall. She held a glass of water in her hand, untouched. Her red dress shimmered under the lights, but her eyes didn't shine. They stared into the glass like it held something lost. People passed her by, too busy with their joy to notice the silence wrapped around her like a second skin. She smiled when someone looked her way, but no one really saw her. Not tonight. Maybe not ever. She had given everything to the role. Weeks of early mornings and sleepless nights. She had broken down on camera more times than she could count, letting the pain from her own past bleed into the lines. Everyone said she was brilliant. The director even cried during one of her scenes. But now, as the film ended and the lights of celebration rose, Anna felt invisible. She wasn't sure why she came to the party. Maybe out of habit, maybe out of hope. Maybe she thought someone would notice, but no one did, until Keanu walked in. He didn't enter like a star. He never did. There was no loud cheer or grand entrance. It's just a soft smile, a quiet nod to the staff, and a calm presence that made people feel seen without words. He shook hands. He hugged the camera guy. He laughed when someone brought him a plate stacked with cupcakes. He was in no rush, yet his eyes moved carefully around the room, scanning gently, as if he was looking for something, or someone. Then he saw her, Anna, alone, next to the potted plant by the back wall. Her head tilted slightly, like she was listening to something no one else could hear. Her hand resting lightly on the glass, not lifting it. Her smile small, fragile dot. Keanu single quotes his smile faded a little, just enough for someone who knew him to understand. Something inside him shifted. He walked slowly across the room, not making a scene, not drawing attention. He stopped in front of her. Anna looked up. She wasn't ready. She quickly straightened, hiding the hurt behind another practiced smile. "Hey," Keanu said softly. Anna nodded. "Hey." He didn't ask why she was sitting alone. He didn't offer compliments. He didn't speak like someone trying to fix something broken. He just sat down beside her. Silence, but it wasn't empty. After a long pause, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small marker. It was the kind children used, lick black and slightly faded. Anna looked at it, confused. He turned slightly, pulled off the sleeve of his jacket, and wrote something carefully across the fabric. Anna leaned over slowly, curious. He had written her name, just her name, no message, no signature, no explanation, just Anna in clean, steady letters. He looked at it a moment. Then he looked at her. "This way," he said gently. "I won't forget who helped carry this story." Anna blinked. Her eyes burned. He wasn't joking. His voice held no trace of performance. No one had ever done something like that for her. Not in that way. Not with such quiet meaning. Keanu stood, still holding the marker, and offered it to her. "Want to sign it too?" he asked. Smiling gently, her hands trembled slightly as she took it. She looked at the jacket, at her name, then found an open space near the bottom and wrote her initials. Then she handed it back. Keanu nodded. "Now it's complete." He didn't stay long after that. He said he had to leave early. Continued louder now. But for Anna, the night had already changed. She sat on that bench for a long time after Keanu left, touching the spot on the sleeve where her name was written. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about being seen by everyone. It was about being seen by someone, and that someone was him. Keanu Reeves didn't save her. He didn't fix her sadness. But he did something more important. He made her feel real. And for the first time in a long time, Maina let herself cry. Not because she was hurt, but because someone finally saw her without needing to say a word. And from that moment on, something inside her began to heal, slowly, quietly, like the way stars return after a storm. The silence after applauses next morning, Anna woke up before the sun. Her room was still dark, and the silence felt too loud. The echo of the party still sat in her bones, but not the laughter or the music. It was something else, something softer. The way Keanu had written her name, the way he hadn't tried to cheer her up, but had simply sat. She touched her phone, still resting on the nightstand. No messages, no missed calls. But her heart felt full in a strange, unfamiliar way, like something had shifted. Like maybe the loneliness wasn't permanent downstairs. The housekeeper greeted her with a warm smile. "You look rested," the woman said kindly. Anna smiled back, unsure if it was true. She stepped outside with her coffee and sat on the edge of the porch. The sky was still blue-gray, and the air smelled of early dew. She thought about the film, about the people she worked with, the director, the team. Of course, Keanu. He had always been kind, never loud, never proud, was present. He listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, it mattered. They had done 3 films together now, each one different. But something about this one had cracked something open inside her. Maybe it was the role, maybe it was the pressure, or maybe it was the moment she sat alone by the wall. Her fingers played with the corner of her phone, unsure. What she wanted? To send a thank you? To ask how he was? Or maybe nothing at all, but something was already in motion. That afternoon, her doorbell rang. When she opened the door, there was no one there, just a box on the ground. Plain, brown, no name. She looked around, but the street was quiet. Inside the box was a folded jacket. Her heart skipped it. It was Keanu's jacket, the same one he wore at the party, the same one he wrote her name on. There was a note inside the pocket, handwritten. "You made this story matter. Now, this belongs to you." No signature, but she knew. Anna sat down on the steps, holding the jacket to her chest. No one had ever done anything like this. Not for her, not quietly, not without needing attention or praise. And she realized something then. Keanu had seen her pain, but he didn't pity her. He honored it. He gave it space. And in return, he offered something of his own, a small gesture, but filled with meaning. Later that evening, she put on the jacket. It smelled like him, like rain and old leather, and something kind. She looked at her name written in black, her initials next to it. Like a quiet signature on a shared moment, the phone buzzed. A message from Keanu. "I hope the jacket fits, like you." Anna smiled through a tear. "It fits," she typed back. "And thank you for seeing me." There was a pause. Then another message. "The world sees what it wants, but I've always seen who you are." The words stayed with her all night. That week, something in Anna began to shift. Not suddenly, not loudly. But with each sunrise, she felt a little stronger, a little more visible. And she carried that jacket everywhere, not for the name written on it, but for the kindness it carried. But not everyone understood. When she walked into the studio for final press photos, a young assistant laughed. "Is that a thrift store jacket?" she joked. Anna smiled softly. "No," she said, "it's a gift." The girl rolled her eyes and walked off. Anna didn't chase her. She didn't have to, because kindness doesn't always need to be defended. It only needs to be lived. And in the corner of that room, Keanu stood watching quietly. He didn't say a word, just lifted his hand slightly. A small wave. And she nodded back. The weight in her chest suddenly light. They didn't need to talk about what had happened, because some moments don't belong to the world. They belong to the quiet between. To people who understand. Shadows behind the Smaleeth press room was loud. Bright flashes from cameras burst like fireworks, and voices layered over each other like crashing waves. Everyone was dressed their best. Everyone smiled. Anna stood near the back, watching. She wore the jacket again. Some recognized it, some didn't. But it didn't matter. She wasn't there to be seen this time. She was there to remember that she mattered, even if no one clapped. Even if no one called her name. But still, she felt the pressure. As the lead actress in a film that was already getting early awards buzz, everyone expected her to be perfect. Every word, every photo, every answer had to fit in the box. Smile, nod, laugh politely. Move along, and she did, at least for a while, until one question stopped her. A reporter, sharp and eager, leaned in with a voice full of sugar and sharpness. "Anna, you seemed a little distant at the wrap party. Some say you weren't really celebrating. Is that true? Was there trouble behind the scenes?" The room quieted a little. Anna froze. For a second, she didn't know how to answer. Her fingers brushed the sleeve of the jacket. Keanu was standing nearby, talking with the director. His eyes met hers from across the room, and he gave the smallest nod. Not one of encouragement, just understanding. Anna turned back to the reporter. She smiled softly. "No trouble," she said. "Some people celebrate loud. I just celebrate quietly." Another reporter laughed. "Yeah, and whose jacket are you wearing? Looks like something from a biker movie." More laughter. Anna looked at the jacket. Her name still clear in black marker. She could have said nothing, but this time she chose something else. "This jacket," she said, "was given to me by someone who saw me when no one else did. Reminds me that I don't have to pretend to be okay all the time, not even here." The room fell silent. No one laughed, and in that stillness, Keanu stepped forward. He didn't make a speech. He didn't raise his voice. He just stood beside her. Anna didn't look at him. She didn't have to. His presence said everything. Someone took a photo of them standing. There, no smiles, no acting, just truth. It would later go viral, but in that moment, it was just two people sharing something real. After the press event, Anna walked out into the parking lot alone. The sun was setting, and the sky was painted with soft orange and purple. She leaned against a rail, breathing slowly. Her hands trembled a little, not from fear, from release. Then she heard footsteps. Keanu. He handed her a bottle of water and sat beside her, quiet as ever. "You handled that well," he said gently. She nodded. "I didn't want to, but I had to." "That's how healing works," he replied. Slow, awkward, but strong. They sat in silence again. A breeze moved past them. Anna looked at him and asked quietly, "Why did you do it?" "The jacket, the name, the moment." Keanu looked up at the sky. "Because once," he said, "someone did the same for me. They reminded me I wasn't alone, and that saved me. I guess I've just been waiting to pass that moment forward." Anna didn't speak. She couldn't. A tear slid down her cheek. But this time, she didn't wipe it away. Keanu reached into his pocket and pulled out a small card. Old, bent at the corners. "This is the name of the person who helped me," he said. "They're not here anymore, but their kindness still is." Anna took the card, read the name. She didn't know the person, but she felt the weight of them. The card felt like more than paper. It felt like memory. "What happened to them?" she asked. Keanu looked away for a moment, then answered, "They died in silence. But they lived with kindness. And I carry both," Ina whispered. "I'm sorry." He shook his head. "Don't be. They didn't want pity, just memory. And now you remember too." They sat there until the sky grew darker, until Anna felt something in her heart shift again. And for the first time in a long time, she wasn't just healing. She was becoming someone else. Someone who would one day pass it forward too. The little girl in the hall wire, week passed. The noise from the press event faded. The photo of Anna and Keanu standing together had gone viral, but neither of them said anything online. There were no interviews, no explanations, no posts, just silence. But the silence felt warm now. It wasn't loneliness anymore. It was peace. Anna had begun sleeping better, walking more, cooking her own meals. She even called her mother 2 nights ago just to hear her voice, and today, for the first time in a while, she was headed to the studio early. There was a charity event for young actors, quiet, small gathering. It's the kind of thing most celebrities skipped, but Keanu had told her about it, said he'd be there. And she said she'd come too. It was held in a long hallway room at a youth center downtown. Dim lights, folding chairs, small tables with juice boxes and crayons. Anna arrived quietly. No cameras, no crowd, just children with wide eyes and quiet. Dreams. She walked slowly through the hallway, smiling at each kid who looked up. Then she saw her, a little girl sitting on the floor, hugging her knees. No one noticed her. Anna knelt down. "Hi," she said softly. "Can I sit with you?" The girl looked up. Her eyes were red. Her hair was messy. She nodded. Anna sat beside her. After a pause, the girl whispered, "Everyone wants to talk to the pretty kids." Anna stayed quiet for a moment, then asked, "What's your name, Lucy?" "Lucy," Anna said gently. "Can I tell you a secret?" Lucy looked at her. "Last week," Anna continued, "I sat at a party and felt invisible. And someone sat next to me. Not because I was smiling, not because I was the loudest, but because he saw me." Lucy blinked. "What happened?" Anna smiled softly. "He gave me his jacket." Lucy's eyes widened. "Really?" Anna nodded. "It reminded me that even quiet people matter. Maybe even more." Lucy's lips trembled. "My mom says I'm too quiet. That I should talk more if I want people to like me." Anna leaned closer. "Being quiet doesn't mean you have nothing to say. It just means you're listening, and the world needs more listeners." Lucy looked down. "But I don't feel special." Anna reached into her bag. She pulled out a small marker. Lucy watched, curious. Anna took Lucy's hand and gently wrote the girl's name across her own wrist. "Now I won't forget you," she said. Lucy stared. Then slowly she smiled. It was small, but real. Just then, Keanu appeared at the end of the hallway. He was talking with one of the volunteers, holding a tray of fruit snacks. He saw Anna sitting on the floor with Lucy, and he didn't interrupt, just stood there and watched. A quiet smile touched his lips. Anna noticed him, nodded once, and turned back to Lucy. "Do you want to go draw something with me?" she asked. Lucy nodded and stood up. They walked together to the craft table. Keanu walked beside them, quiet, respectful. Lucy looked up at him. "Are you an actor too?" Keanu smiled. "Sometimes, but mostly I just try to be kind." Lucy nodded. "Seriously, you're good at it." Keanu bowed slightly, and Anna laughed. The room wasn't filled with applause or cameras. It wasn't glamorous, but in that hallway, surrounded by crayons and paper hearts, something deep was happening. Anna had passed the moment forward, the one Keanu gave her. Now it belonged to Lucy, too. And something inside. Keanu shifted again. He saw her differently now. Not just as a friend, not just as an actress, but as someone who understood the quiet pain others missed, and he knew. Anna was beginning to carry something that couldn't be taught. Kindness with depth, empathy without noise, and strength without pride. Echoes from the past week after the youth event was quiet. Anna stayed home more, not because she was hiding, but because something inside her was growing stronger. It's not louder, just steadier. She kept Keanu's jacket close, not always wearing it, but folding it neatly at the end of her bed, like a reminder of something important. Something real, every morning. She looked at the name written on the sleeve, her name, and thought about how far she had come. Not in career, not in fame, but in self-worth. She thought of Lucy often, wondered if the little girl still felt seen, wondered if she remembered the name written on someone else's wrist then. One rainy evening, the past came knocking, Anna single quotes. Phone buzzed with a name she hadn't seen in years. Emilio, her first acting teacher, the one who once told her, "Your silence speaks more than loud actors ever could." She stared at the screen. The name brought both warmth and pain. She answered. His voice was older, slower. "Anna, I didn't think you'd remember me." "Never forgot," she said softly. He paused. "I saw the picture. You and Keanu, the jacket. I knew that was you, even without reading the article." Anna stayed quiet. "Do you remember?" he asked. "What you told me the night after your first performance?" She thought for a moment. Then it came back like a whisper from another lifetime. "I said, I hope someone sees me." "Yes," he said. "And now they do." Donna felt something break open inside her. Not pain. Release. Double quotes. "Thank you," she whispered. "You were never invisible," Emilio said. "You just hadn't met the right eyes yet." After the call, Anna sat in silence. Then she picked up a pen and opened her notebook. Not a script, not a speech, just thoughts. She wrote about the party, the hallway, the little girl named Lucy, the man who gave her his jacket without asking for anything in return. The next morning, she sent a message to Keanu. "Can I show you something?" He replied within minutes. Always. They met at a quiet coffee shop tucked in the corner of an old bookstore. Keanu arrived first, wearing a dark beanie and a soft scarf. He stood when he saw her. Anna handed him the notebook. "What is it?" He asked. "Just my story," she said. "I think it's time to stop hiding." He sat down, opened it slowly, began to read. He didn't speak. He didn't react. He just read every word, page by page, line by line, when he closed the notebook. His eyes were glassy. "You wrote the truth," he said. Anna nodded. "What are you going to do with it?" he asked. "I want to make a short film," she said. "Not for fame, just for the ones who feel invisible." Keanu leaned back in his chair. "You'll need someone to produce it." Yana raised an eyebrow. "You know anyone?" he smiled. "I might." They sat in that bookstore for hours, talking, planning, not just about the film, about everything that had led to this moment. Keanu told her about the person who once gave him hope. Anna shared more about her childhood, her fears, the moments. She almost gave up, and together, they shaped something new, not just a project, but a purpose. The short film would be called The Girl by the Wall, and the final scene would show a young woman sitting alone at a party until someone walked up and simply sat beside her. No words, just presence. Anna didn't cry when she wrote that ending, but Keanu did when he read it, and for the first time. They both knew they weren't just making a film. They were offering a hand to someone out there. Someone watching. Someone waiting. Someone who just wanted to be seen. The Girl by the Wall. 3 months later, the short film was finished. Anna had written every word from the heart. Keanu helped her shape it gently, never taking over, never asking for credit. He stood beside her through every scene, every rehearsal, every quiet moment when she doubted herself. They didn't hire famous actors. They didn't care about fame. They just wanted truth. The girl in the film was played by a new actress named Leah. She was young, quiet, unsure of herself. But when Anna met her, she saw something behind her eyes. The same quiet sadness, the same need to be seen, and Leah had something else to dash hope when they filmed the rap party scene. No one spoke for a long time after the final take, not even the crew. Something about it felt real, too real. In the last shot, Leah sat alone on a bench by the wall, just like Anna once had, and a man sat beside her. Not a big entrance, not a speech, just presence. Anna stood behind the camera, hand on her chest. Keanu watched beside her, silent. When the scene ended, no one clapped. Instead, someone in the crew quietly wiped their eyes, and that was enough. The film was released online for no ads, no sponsors, just the story. The Girl by the Wall. Within days, people around the world shared it. Comments flooded in. "I felt like this before. Thank you for showing this without drama. Just truth. Someone saw me today because of this." One message came from a young girl in a small village in Mexico. She wrote, "I was going to stop acting. Then I saw your film. Now I won't." Anna printed that message and pinned it to her mirror, not to boost her ego, but to remind herself why she had shared her story. One evening, Yana and Keanu sat quietly at a bench in a park, the same one from their third film together. The wind was soft. The stars above blinked gently. Anna leaned back, arms folded. Wearing his old jacket, the marker-written name faded a little, but it was still there. He glanced at it. "You ever going to wash that?" he asked, smiling. "Never," she whispered. They sat for a while. Then Keanu pulled something from his bag. A new jacket, similar style, plain but fresh. He handed it to her. "What's this?" She asked. "For the next girl by the wall," he said. "It's your turn now." Yana looked at him, then down at the jacket. She didn't speak. Instead, she took out the same old marker she always kept in her bag. She wrote one word on the sleeve. Lucy. Keanu smiled. Anna whispered because I saw her too. He nodded. They sat there together. No need to say anything more. The moment was complete. They didn't need red carpets, or trophies, or headlines. They had something stronger, a legacy of kindness. Passed by hand from silence to silence, from one heart to another, somewhere in a different city. A little girl watched the short film on a school laptop. She didn't cry. She just sat quietly after it ended. And then she stood up. She walked over to a classmate sitting alone by the wall during lunch, and she simply sat down. Beside her, no words, just presence. And so the story continued. Quiet, invisible to many, but life-changing to one.